There is a silent difference between those who merely wish and those who win. It's not visible in the beginning. It doesn't show up in how someone looks, where they come from, or even how they start. It reveals itself in how they think, how they respond when no one's watching, how they process failure, how they face fear, and how they talk to themselves when the world is silent. This invisible force, this internal software, is what determines whether someone rises or stays stuck. And it all begins in the mind. Every achievement, every success, every breakthrough ever accomplished by any human being didn't begin with luck, connections, or fortune. It started with a decision, a quiet personal decision to refuse the ordinary, a decision to walk away from excuses and step into responsibility, a decision to think like a winner long before the world ever called them one. That is the mindset that separates, the mindset that defines destiny. What most people call motivation is temporary. It fades the moment challenges show up. But those with the mindset of a winner don't operate on emotion. They operate on purpose. While others search for comfort, they choose growth. While others react, they prepare. While others doubt, they decide. Their mind is trained not just to survive, but to dominate. They understand that before anything can change on the outside, something has to shift on the inside. The mind must align with the mission. Winners aren't the loudest in the room. They are the clearest. They are not desperate for recognition. They are grounded in conviction. Their thoughts are intentional, not reactive. They don't allow the noise of the world to distract them from the voice of their vision. They don't ask for permission to think differently. They just do, because they understand that the world bends to those who refuse to bow. Most people wait for the right conditions to believe in themselves. Winners create belief in the middle of chaos. They don't need perfect timing, because their mindset has already made the decision. They don't need external proof, because they carry internal proof. They've already declared the outcome in their mind. And now every step they take, every choice they make is in service of that declaration. This isn't about being fearless. It's about being courageous despite fear. It's about choosing discipline when distractions call. It's about choosing faith when doubt screams. The mind of a winner isn't wired for easy. It's wired for excellence. It's not about ego. It's not about arrogance. It's about alignment. Mental alignment with the vision. A belief system so strong, so solid, that no rejection, no setback, no delay can tear it down. The truth is, winning is not something you stumble into. It's something you think into, something you commit to in the dark before it ever appears in the light. The difference between someone who hopes and someone who achieves is written in their thoughts, because the person who believes they are capable, even when nothing around them reflects it, has already stepped into a different league, and over time, reality catches up with that mindset. So the question must be asked, not what do you want, but how are you thinking? Not are you trying, but are you thinking like a winner? Because no amount of effort will sustain itself without the right internal foundation. No strategy will stick if the mind is scattered. No victory will last if the thoughts behind it are built on fear, doubt, or insecurity. Everything begins in the mind. The battlefield is not out there, it's in here. This is where winners are born. Not on the podium, not on the stage, not in the spotlight, but in the silent, relentless discipline of thought. In the moments when no one is watching, but everything is being decided, there comes a point when shifting blame becomes too expensive. A moment where pointing fingers no longer satisfies, and the realization hits like a storm. No one is coming to save you. No one owes you an apology. No one owes you an opportunity. The harsh truth that separates the average from the elite is this: everything is your responsibility. Winners don't just accept this truth, they live by it. They wear it like armor. They take ruthless ownership of their lives, their actions, their failures, and their future. Ownership isn't about taking credit when things go right. It's about standing tall when everything falls apart and saying, "This is mine, I own it." Not out of guilt, but out of power. Because the moment ownership is embraced, control is reclaimed. As long as excuses exist, potential remains locked. And nothing delays greatness more than the belief that someone else is responsible for the outcome. Winners don't outsource their destiny. They don't wait for ideal conditions, perfect timing, or external validation. If the goal is important, they create the conditions. If the timing is off, they work anyway. If the world doubts them, they double down on themselves. They understand that life is not fair, but that doesn't matter. What matters is how they respond, how they rise, and how they take full command of their next move. When failure strikes, the average person looks outward at the system, at other people, at circumstances. But winners look inward. They ask hard questions. What did I miss? What can I change? What do I need to become? This self-interrogation isn't self-punishment, it's self-mastery. It's how accountability transforms into growth. Because if you caused it, you can change it. And if you can change it, you can conquer it. There is a powerful shift that happens when someone stops waiting to be rescued and decides to become their own rescue. That shift creates momentum. It activates something rare, self-leadership. And from that moment forward, no challenge feels too large, because ownership makes even the impossible feel negotiable. Winners know that the moment they blame anything or anyone else, they give away the steering wheel of their life, and they refuse to let anyone else drive. This mindset removes the safety net of excuses, it forces elevation, it demands evolution, it replaces "why is this happening to me" with "what must I learn from this?" It replaces "they didn't give me a chance" with "I'll create my own." This is not a mindset of arrogance, it's a mindset of authority, of standing inside your power even when things are falling apart, of knowing that control is not always about the outside world, it's about mastering your response to it. There is freedom and ownership, a calm strength in knowing that your life is yours to shape. Yes, the path will be hard. Yes, mistakes will be made. But when every success and every setback is accepted as your responsibility, nothing feels wasted. Every moment becomes a lesson. Every obstacle becomes part of the process. And eventually every excuse fades into irrelevance. Winners understand that complaining is the language of the powerless. They don't speak it. They don't tolerate it. They replace it with action, with learning, with movement. Because they know that progress doesn't come from explaining why something didn't happen. It comes from deciding what will happen next. Ruthless ownership is not a trait you're born with. It's a decision, a habit, a way of life. The weak avoid it. The average fear it. But the elite embrace it. They don't run from the mirror. They face it. And in doing so, they become unstoppable. Discipline is the difference between desire and achievement. It is the great separator between those who simply wish for change and those who command it. While the world is full of people waiting for the right moment, the right mood, or the right energy, winners move with or without it, because they understand one eternal truth: the mission doesn't care how you feel. Results don't respond to feelings, they respond to consistency. And consistency is born from discipline. Most people are controlled by their emotions. They work when it's convenient. They show up when it feels good. They commit when motivation is high. But the moment discomfort shows up, they retreat. That is where the majority lives, in a cycle of short bursts and long excuses. Discipline, however, is a different code. It is showing up when no one is watching. It is doing the work when inspiration is nowhere to be found. It is executing, not because of excitement, but because of expectation. Winners build habits that do not ask for permission from their emotions. They wake up on schedule. They follow through on promises. They push beyond distractions, not because they are superhuman, but because they have trained their minds to serve their goals, not their impulses. They've learned to delay gratification in a world that worships it. They've mastered the art of showing up, especially when they don't feel like it. That's where true power lives. Discipline is not a punishment. It is a gateway. It is the bridge that carries vision into reality. Goals mean nothing without discipline to back them. Talk is cheap without action. Intention is powerless without follow-through. Those who rise above average are not the ones with the most ambition. They are the ones with the most endurance. They endure boredom, fatigue, temptation, and resistance, and they do it daily. There's a reason few people reach greatness, because discipline demands sacrifice. It requires doing what's hard when it's easier to do nothing. It requires saying no when distractions call your name. It means rejecting comfort in favor of challenge. But winners have learned to love that process, not because it's easy, but because they understand its value. They know that behind every disciplined choice is one more step toward excellence. While others are debating whether to act, those with discipline are already halfway through. While others are waiting for the perfect time, the disciplined are creating momentum. Discipline gives you the edge not once but every single day. It's the silent power that compounds. It doesn't show up in grand gestures, but in quiet decisions. Waking up early, saying no to shortcuts, staying focused, honoring your word, finishing what you started. Again and again and again, discipline is not about being robotic. It's about being loyal to your vision, your values, and your future. It is a form of self-respect, a declaration that you are worthy of the life you're building, that your dreams are not negotiable, that you will not let laziness, fear, or distraction write the story of your life, and that alone places you in rare company. Those who live with unshakable discipline don't hope to win. They expect it, because they've paid the price in private, and they know what they've earned. The confidence that flows from discipline is unbreakable. It is not built on emotion, but on evidence. The evidence of repeated effort. The evidence of showing up, even when it was hard. And over time, that evidence becomes identity. Unshakable discipline is not glamorous. It is not flashy, but it is everything. Because in the moments when talent fails, and motivation fades, and luck runs out, discipline remains. And in that moment, the winner is always revealed. The average settle. The exceptional evolve. What separates a winner from the rest is not that they started stronger, it's that they refuse to stay the same. There is a fire inside them, a quiet refusal to remain stagnant.
They are not content with yesterday's progress. Growth to them is not optional, it is oxygen. They live with a relentless hunger to become more, know more, do more. While others coast, they climb. While others repeat, they reinvent. This obsession with growth is not casual, it's not seasonal, it's constant, it's woven into their identity. Every failure becomes a mirror, every success becomes a standard, and every day becomes a new opportunity to expand what they know and sharpen who they are. Growth isn't a box they check, it's a way they breathe. It infiltrates everything they do, from how they think to how they lead to how they learn. Those who are obsessed with growth don't fear failure, they dissect it. They turn every setback into a lesson, every disappointment into data. There is no such thing as wasted experience in their world, because every outcome, win or lose, is feedback, and feedback is fuel. They aren't afraid of looking wrong or being a beginner. They embrace discomfort, because they understand that on the other side of discomfort is transformation. This obsession creates a different rhythm in their life. While others are focused on appearing competent, they are focused on becoming excellent. While others seek validation, they seek improvement. They read when others relax. They study when others entertain. They ask questions when others pretend to know. And they surround themselves not with flatterers, but with challengers. People who push them, stretch them, sharpen them. Because they know growth happens at the edge of pressure. The path to mastery demands humility. Winners understand this deeply. They are students before they are leaders. They are always open, always listening, always refining. They don't confuse progress with perfection. They don't get trapped by pride. The moment ego enters, growth exits. So they keep their ego in check, not out of weakness but out of wisdom, because they know the biggest enemy of tomorrow's greatness is today's arrogance. To grow is to stretch, to shed old versions of yourself. It means leaving behind outdated habits, limited beliefs, and small thinking. Growth is not always loud or dramatic. It's often invisible. It's the shift in perspective, the deeper questions, the stronger decisions, the more focused priorities. And over time, these shifts compound into transformation. Winners never stop growing because they know there is no finish line. There's always another level, another layer to unlock, another skill to sharpen. And this isn't born from insecurity. It's driven by a purpose bigger than comfort. They understand that the more they grow, the more they can give, build, and lead. And because of that, growth becomes their responsibility, not just their desire. There is a difference between those who seek comfort and those who seek capacity. Comfort is predictable. Growth is demanding. Comfort is quick. Growth takes time. But only growth delivers long-term reward. Only growth builds the type of person who can carry success without crumbling under it. And that's why the truly elite never stop developing. Not when they win, not when they're praised, not when they're ahead. In fact, that's when they double down. The obsession with growth turns average days into meaningful ones. It gives purpose to struggle and clarity to chaos. And in the end, it separates those who plateau from those who ascend. It's not about being the best. It's about becoming your best and then going beyond that. Not once, but always. The strength to win begins not in the body, but in the mind. And even deeper than that, it begins in emotional resilience. Emotional fortitude is the ability to hold your ground when everything around you shakes. It's the quiet power that keeps you anchored when circumstances try to toss you into chaos. It is not the absence of emotion, it is the command of it. Because in this life, emotions are not the enemy. Lack of control is. The world tests everyone. No one is immune from setbacks, disappointments, betrayal, loss, or frustration. But the ones who rise to the top are not those who avoid pain. They are those who master their response to it. They have trained themselves to feel deeply, but move powerfully. They do not allow temporary emotions to sabotage permanent goals. They do not fold under pressure. They channel it. Emotional fortitude is built in the storms, not the sunshine. It's developed in the moments that try to break you. When plans fall apart, when progress is slow, when support disappears, this is where the inner muscle is forged. Most people crumble at these moments. They let emotions lead their decisions, cloud their clarity, weaken their will. But those with fortitude do the opposite. They stay steady. They stay focused. They stay in control. This kind of resilience is not a gift. It is a discipline, a choice to stay calm when panic wants to take over, a decision to breathe when chaos surrounds, a commitment to stay level-headed when anger tries to erupt. The strong don't suppress their emotions. They process them. They study them, and then they decide what gets to stay and what must go. Because not every emotion deserves a reaction. Not every feeling deserves a voice. Winners know that emotional discipline is what separates reactors from leaders. Anyone can respond when things are easy. But how do you respond when you're misunderstood, ignored, challenged, humiliated? That's where your true strength is revealed. Not in words, but in self-control. The ability to think when others are triggered. To choose logic when others drown in drama. To protect your vision from the sabotage of impulsive decisions. They understand the cost of emotional chaos. It derails focus. It wastes time. It ruins relationships. And most dangerously, it blinds direction. So instead of fighting emotion, they've trained their minds to harness it. Fear becomes awareness. Anger becomes fuel. Pain becomes purpose. Their emotions become tools, not tyrants. There is no success without inner strength. The world doesn't slow down for your breakdowns. Life will not always apologize. People will not always be kind. But that doesn't matter when you've built strength on the inside, because when the inner world is stable, the outer world cannot shake it. Winners carry this peace with them, not because everything is perfect, but because their reactions are no longer controlled by conditions. And make no mistake, emotional mastery is not coldness, it is clarity. It's knowing what to feel and when to feel it. It's choosing response over reaction, patience over panic, purpose over pride. It's what keeps you grounded when others lose direction. And over time, this stability becomes magnetic. People follow those who don't flinch under fire. True greatness is not just about achievement, it's about composure. The ability to keep your mind and heart aligned under pressure, to stay sharp when life goes dull, to carry weight with grace, and to keep moving forward, not because it's easy, but because you've trained your emotions to follow your mission, not sabotage it. That is emotional fortitude, not a shield from pain, but the strength to stand inside it and still move forward. There is a vast difference between movement and direction. The world is full of people who are busy chasing approval, comfort, distraction, or survival. But activity without purpose is just noise. What separates those who win is not effort alone, it's vision. A clear, relentless, uncompromising vision. Winners are not pulled by the chaos of the moment. They are pulled forward by the clarity of their mission. Vision is what gives discipline its meaning. It's what makes sacrifice feel like investment. Without it, even hard work loses power. It becomes scattered, reactive, directionless. But with vision, every action becomes strategic. Every hour, every choice, every struggle becomes part of a bigger picture. And in that alignment, real momentum is born. Winners do not guess where they're going. They decide. They define it. They see it before it exists. Their vision is not just a goal, it's a blueprint, a living, breathing reality in their minds, long before it materializes in the world. And because of that, they move differently. They speak differently. They wake up with a different level of fire, because they are not living for the moment. They are building for the legacy. This kind of clarity doesn't come from external influence. It comes from inner alignment, from asking the hard questions. What am I here to build? Who must I become to build it? What must I leave behind to reach it? Vision requires brutal honesty and the courage to see beyond circumstance. It demands that you ignore the noise, the trends, the doubts, and fix your eyes on what only you can see. Living with vision doesn't mean you'll always feel certain. It doesn't mean the path will always make sense. But it gives you something more powerful than certainty: direction. It gives you a compass when the map disappears. It keeps you steady when distractions multiply. Because once your vision is locked in, decisions become easier. You no longer chase everything. You pursue only what aligns. Those who live with vision are not swayed by opinions. They are not led by emotion. They are not tempted by shortcuts. Their direction is internal, not external. And that's why they cannot be stopped by things that derail others: rejection, failure, delay, doubt. These things don't break them. They remind them. They sharpen the mission. Because when you are driven by vision, adversity becomes instruction, not interruption. Vision-driven living demands discipline, but it also brings freedom. The freedom of knowing where you're going. The freedom of not needing to compare. The freedom of waking up with fire instead of fear. It is the ultimate anchor in a world that thrives on distraction. It keeps your focus clean, your energy pure, your efforts aligned. And alignment is where progress multiplies. Those who build extraordinary lives are not always the most talented, the most educated, or the most connected, but they are almost always the most focused. And that focus comes from vision, the ability to look past what is, to build what can be. They see possibility where others see limitation. They act with purpose, while others drift in confusion. This is the power of vision. It lifts you above the noise. It silences the doubt. It gives meaning to sacrifice and direction to ambition. It's what transforms you from a wanderer into a warrior, from someone who reacts to someone who leads. Winners don't just have a vision. They live inside it. They breathe it. They protect it. And they build it, one decision at a time, until the world can no longer ignore what they saw from the very beginning. There is no greatness without effort, no breakthrough without grind. Behind every success story that looks effortless lies a mountain of hours that no one saw. Winners are not defined by talent alone. They are shaped by relentless work, not occasional effort, not half-hearted pushes, but consistent, disciplined, obsessive pursuit. The kind of work ethic that outlasts fatigue, outpaces competition, and outperforms excuses. Work ethic is the silent force that builds champions when no one is watching. It's not loud, but it's undeniable. It's in the early mornings, the late nights, the extra reps, the rewrites, the rehearsals, the endless refinement. It's the discipline to go beyond what's required, to not just do enough, but to do more, always more, because enough is never the mindset of a winner. Most people stop when it gets hard. They pause when results don't come quickly. They pull back when recognition is delayed. But winners, they don't need applause to continue. They are powered by something deeper than attention. Their work is not a performance. It's a mission, a commitment to excellence, whether anyone acknowledges it or not. Relentless work ethic is not about burning out. It's about burning bright. It's about pouring energy into the right things with intensity and precision. It's not random hustle. It's strategic, purposeful grind. It's refusing to be average. It's showing up every day with the mindset that no one is going to outwork you. Not because you're trying to prove something to others, but because you've already proven something to yourself. You won't quit. This kind of ethic creates separation. While others are counting hours, winners are counting output. While others are planning to start, winners are finishing what they already began. There's no waiting for perfect conditions. No sitting around for ideal circumstances. They work through the doubt, through the delay, through the discomfort. They understand that momentum is not found. It's built. And it's built with work. Relentless effort creates mastery. It sharpens skill, builds stamina, and hardens mental resilience. The grind is where you learn how to lead yourself, how to break past limits, how to rise when you're tired, how to win, not once but repeatedly. Because anyone can give effort once. The rare ones, they give it every day. And they do it without being told, reminded, or rewarded. Work ethic is a mirror. It reveals how serious you are. It doesn't lie. It exposes who is committed and who is just interested. Those with real ambition don't need motivation to act. They have standards. Standards that do not bend based on how they feel. Standards that demand action, even when no one's watching. And it's those standards that shape extraordinary results. The most dangerous individual in any arena. The one who gets up one more time. The one who works when others sleep. The one who chooses repetition over rest. Growth over gratification. Progress over pride. That is the edge that breaks records, builds empires, and reshapes destiny. Relentless work ethic is a mindset. It says, I don't need permission to be great. I will earn it. It says, you may be more talented, but you will not outwork me. It refuses to coast. It refuses to wait. And over time, it turns effort into excellence and movement into momentum. Because in the end, it's not just what you do once. It's what you're willing to do again and again, long after the excitement fades, long after the crowd goes home. That's where greatness is born. In the grind. In the repetition, in the relentless.
The turning point in every winner's life is when they stop blaming and start owning. Accountability is not just a principle, it's a power move. It shifts control back where it belongs, within. Winners do not wait to be rescued. They do not wait to be reminded. They do not point fingers when things go wrong. They look in the mirror and ask the only question that matters: what must I do differently? Self-accountability is the foundation of every breakthrough. It is the difference between talking about potential and living it. Those who own their actions own their outcomes. They do not hide behind circumstances. They do not make excuses when progress stalls. They know that as long as they place responsibility outside of themselves, they also place their power there. And winners never give away power. This kind of personal responsibility is rare because it requires brutal honesty. It demands that you confront your own gaps, your inconsistencies, your laziness, your delays, your distractions. It demands that you acknowledge the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. But in that discomfort lies growth, because you cannot fix what you refuse to face. Accountability is not punishment, it's freedom. When you take full responsibility for your life, you stop waiting for someone else to change your story. You stop waiting for the economy, your background, your boss, your partner, your environment to shift. You realize you are the shift. And that awareness ignites a fire that no external force can extinguish. Those with self-accountability don't need supervision. They don't need someone checking in. They are their own standard. They track their own progress. They admit their own mistakes. And when they fall short, they don't hide. They adjust. They recalibrate and return stronger. That's what separates them. Not perfection, but ownership. In every pursuit, there will be temptations to blame the system, to complain about the pace, to envy others, to lower the bar, but accountability destroys those temptations. It reminds you that you are responsible for your reaction, your attitude, your effort, your choices. Not everything that happens is your fault, but everything that follows is your responsibility. This mindset is not soft, it's savage. It means you don't get to coast. You don't get to settle. You don't get to let yourself off the hook. You measure yourself not against others, but against your own potential. You don't wait for someone to notice your weakness. You attack it yourself. You don't avoid feedback. You seek it because you are hungry to improve. Winners live in this mindset. They don't deflect. They don't deny. They don't delay. They move with precision because they understand that the clock doesn't wait. Life doesn't pause for indecision. Progress belongs to those who act without needing applause. And accountability is what keeps them aligned. When distractions call and pressure rises, you can't lead anyone until you learn to lead yourself. You can't manage teams, companies, or visions if you can't manage your own time, your own standards, your own follow-through. The world doesn't need more talkers, it needs more doers. And accountability is what separates the two. In the end, results don't lie. They reflect your habits, your mindset, your work, your discipline. And if you don't like the results, change the actions. Winners don't just hope for better, they do better every single day. That's the code they live by. Because at the end of it all, no one owes you success. No one is coming to push you. You are the engine. You are the standard. You are the one. Own it. In a world obsessed with speed, true power lies in consistency. Not in the bursts of brilliance, not in the moments of hype, but in the steady, disciplined execution that compounds over time. Winners are not built in a day. They are built daily, through repetition, through structure, through showing up long after the mood to do so has left. Consistency isn't glamorous. It doesn't scream. It doesn't post itself online. It doesn't beg for praise. It simply delivers, again and again and again. While others are driven by emotion, winners are driven by commitment. They don't need to feel ready. They don't need to feel inspired. They've made the decision, and now it's routine. It's who they are. This is where the majority falls short. They think progress requires constant reinvention. They chase motivation like it's fuel. But consistency isn't about how you feel. It's about what you decide. The decision to stay in motion, the decision to stick to the process, the decision to trust that small steps, taken daily, eventually lead to monumental change. Consistency beats talent when talent gets lazy. It beats intelligence when intelligence gets distracted. It beats motivation when motivation disappears. Because it doesn't rely on mood. It doesn't seek perfect timing. It simply honors the process, regardless of weather, pressure, or distraction. That's what makes it powerful. It's reliability. Those who win don't always move fast, but they never stop. They understand that greatness is not about how hard you can hit once. It's about how long you can keep going, how well you can execute when it's boring, how focused you can stay when results are slow, how unshakable your habits are when life gets loud. Because the truth is, success is often a test of endurance, not intensity. It asks, can you keep doing the right thing even when it doesn't feel exciting? Can you keep showing up even when no one's clapping? Can you stay faithful to your craft, your health, your growth, your purpose, day after day, without shortcuts, without applause? Consistency builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. It trains your identity. Every time you follow through, you reinforce who you are. You remind yourself that your word matters, that you are dependable, that when you set a goal, you honor it with action. And that kind of self-trust is what fuels unstoppable confidence. You don't need to be extreme. You just need to be consistent. Small, smart, intentional actions, repeated without excuse, will always outlast sporadic intensity. It's not about doing everything today. It's about doing something every day. Forward is forward. Progress is progress. And when consistency is locked in, success becomes inevitable. The world respects the results, not the intention. And results are the offspring of habits. If the habits are right, the outcome takes care of itself. And if the outcome isn't there yet, you don't panic. You don't switch paths. You don't doubt the process. You double down. You refine. You keep going. That's the consistency that breaks through plateaus and makes history, because eventually the compound effect kicks in. The little things become the big things. The daily practices become excellence. The discipline becomes second nature. And suddenly, what once felt impossible becomes your new standard, not because of a moment of inspiration, but because of months and years of disciplined consistency. True power isn't built in chaos. It's forged in rhythm. In the quiet daily grind, in doing the hard thing again and again until it becomes easy, then doing the next hard thing. That's the formula. That's the separation. Keep showing up. That's the real flex. Now the truth is in front of you. Every excuse stripped away. Every illusion shattered. What separates winners is not mystery. It's mindset. It's habits. It's choices. It's the relentless refusal to settle, the unwavering commitment to rise, and the absolute refusal to wait for permission. So here it is, the moment where knowledge must become action, reflection must become execution, desire must become discipline, because wanting more isn't enough, dreaming big isn't enough. Winners do not live in theory, they live in pursuit, and pursuit demands motion. No more delays, no more hoping success finds you, no more waiting for conditions to be right. If you're serious about stepping into everything you're capable of, then prove it. Get up and move with purpose. Make the decision that enough is enough. Enough hiding behind doubt. Enough shrinking around comfort. Enough talking without doing. Every second you hesitate, someone else is building. Every day you postpone, your momentum bleeds. Time doesn't slow down for indecision. Life does not reward hesitation. It rewards execution, aggression, precision, relentless follow-through. And if you're going to rise above the rest, you must act like it, think like it, train like it, move like it. Don't just absorb words, embody them. Don't just chase motivation. Build the machine that runs without it. Create the structure. Set the standard. Become the force that doesn't stop.
Because once you stop negotiating with effort, once you lock into the vision and commit to showing up no matter what, that's when everything changes. This world does not need more spectators. It needs builders, leaders, warriors, individuals who do not fold under pressure, who do not flinch at failure, who do not need to be told twice. It needs those who decide that their life will not be a reaction, but a statement. Make that statement. Draw the line. Raise the bar. Go all in. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Your mindset is the weapon. Your discipline is the shield. Your vision is the compass. And your time is now. Don't just want it. Own it.